The moment Cleveland has been waiting for just exploded across every screen in America. Shedeur Sanders is your starting quarterback. Not next week, not eventually, not when the stars align, right now. And if you think this is just another depth chart shuffle, you haven't been paying attention to what's really happening in Berea. This isn't a football decision. This is a revolution disguised as a roster move. The Cleveland Browns just declared war on their own history, burned down decades of safe, boring, soul-crushing mediocrity, and handed the keys to a 22-year-old who walks onto that field like he owns the entire city. And maybe he does. You want to know how seismic this announcement was? Kevin Stefanski's hands were literally shaking during that press conference. ESPN's notification system crashed from the traffic. Vegas immediately shifted Super Bowl odds. And somewhere in downtown Cleveland, they're already planning parade routes they haven't needed in decades. But here's what nobody's telling you about this story. This wasn't supposed to happen yet. 3 weeks ago, Joe Flacco was the unquestioned starter. Shedeur was the project, and the Browns were content to play it safe with their geriatric game manager while their future sat on the bench polishing his cleats. Then preseason happened. Then Shedeur happened. Then everything changed. Because when Shedeur Sanders takes the field, he doesn't just play quarterback, he conducts symphonies. Every snap is poetry in motion. Every read is surgical precision. Every throw carries the weight of destiny. You watch him move in that pocket, sliding away from pressure like water through fingers, and you realize you're not watching a rookie. You're watching the future of football being born in real time. The numbers don't lie, but they don't tell the whole story either. Sure, Shedeur torched defenses in preseason with pinpoint accuracy and ice-cold composure that would make Tom Brady jealous. But what the stat sheet can't capture is the electricity. The way teammates gravitate toward him in the huddle. The way coaches lean forward when he speaks. The way 70,000 people rise to their feet before he even touches the ball. That's not coaching. That's not scheme. That's pure, undiluted leadership magnetism, and it's exactly what this franchise has been missing since they came back in 1999. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Joe Flacco. The veteran who is supposed to be the steady hand, the mentor, the bridge to the future. Well, that bridge just got demolished by a freight train named Shedeur Sanders, and Joe is not taking well. Sources inside the facility are whispering about closed-door confrontations, about a veteran who feels betrayed, about promises that evaporated the moment Sanders started slinging touchdown passes like he was born to do it. And honestly, I get it. Flacco did everything right. He managed games, he didn't turn the ball over, he kept the ship floating while everyone expected him to gracefully pass the torch when the time was right. The problem is, Shedeur Sanders doesn't wait for anyone's timeline. Greatness operates on its own schedule, and his schedule just accelerated past everyone's expectations. This is where the story gets really interesting because what you're witnessing isn't just a quarterback change, it's a complete organizational identity shift. For decades, the Browns have been the NFL's cautionary tale, the franchise where quarterback dreams go to die. Tim Couch, Brady Quinn, Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, all buried in the same graveyard of broken promises and shattered hopes. But Shedeur Sanders doesn't carry that baggage. He looks at that history and sees fuel, not fear. He sees opportunity, not obligation. He sees a city desperate for a hero and says, "Watch me work." That's the difference between a survivor and a conqueror, and Cleveland just got themselves a conqueror. The transformation is already happening. You can see it in the way players post on social media with renewed energy. You can hear it in the way coaches talk about offensive possibilities they never had before. You can feel it in the way the entire city's pulse has quickened. This isn't just hope. This is the kind of electric anticipation that turns ordinary seasons into legendary ones. But if you're expecting a fairy tale, pump the brakes. The NFL is a meat grinder that destroys unprepared rookies for breakfast. Defensive coordinators across the league are already scheming, drawing up exotic blitzes and coverage disguises designed to break Shedeur's confidence in half. He's going to take hits that rearrange his molecular structure. He's going to throw interceptions that make SportsCenter's worst plays. He's going to have moments where the spotlight feels more like a heat lamp in hell. Here's what separates the legends from the footnotes: how you respond when the world is watching you fall. And every single piece of evidence suggests that Shedeur Sanders doesn't just respond to adversity, he weaponizes it. College defenses try to rattle him. He picked them apart. Media pressure tried to overwhelm him. He turned it into motivation. The bigger the stage, the brighter he shines. That's exactly what Cleveland needs right now. Not another game manager, not another safe choice, not another bridge quarterback who keeps you competitive enough to pick 15th in the draft. They need someone who can transform Sunday afternoons from obligation into appointment television. They need someone who makes opposing defensive coordinators lose sleep. They need someone who makes free agents want to come to Cleveland instead of escape from it. Shedeur Sanders is all of that and more, wrapped in a 22-year-old package that carries himself like he's already won 3 Super Bowls. The confidence isn't arrogance, it's preparation meeting opportunity. This kid has been groomed for this moment his entire life. The cameras, the pressure, the expectations that would crush most rookies? He views them as competitive advantages. And that brings us to the broader implications of this decision. The Browns didn't just name a starting quarterback, they declared their intentions to compete with the league's elite. No more moral victories. No more we're building something press conferences. No more accepting mediocrity as progress. They looked at their roster, looked at their potential, and decided that playing it safe was the riskiest move they could make. Smart organizations recognize inflection points when they see them. The Browns just recognized theirs. Shedeur Sanders represents everything this franchise has been missing: star power, marketability, genuine excitement, and most importantly, the ability to make everyone around him better. When you have that kind of catalyst, you don't wait for the perfect moment. You strike while the iron is molten hot. The fan base gets it completely. Season ticket sales that were stagnant for weeks are now flying off digital shelves. Jersey pre-orders crashed the Browns' website twice. Social media engagement has tripled overnight. For the first time in years, Cleveland Browns football is trending for the right reasons, and that momentum is intoxicating. But momentum without execution is just hype, and hype without substance is just noise. The real test begins when Shedeur takes his first snap in a game that actually counts. When the stadium is deafening, when the pass rush is live, when every throw matters and every decision gets dissected by millions of viewers who think they could do it better. That's when we'll discover what Shedeur Sanders is really made of. That's when the kid who's been preparing for this moment his whole life gets to prove that all the preparation was worth it. That's when Cleveland finds out if they just found their franchise savior or if they're about to add another name to their quarterback graveyard. Here's what I believe, and if you've been following Brown's breakout, you know I don't make predictions lightly. Shedeur Sanders is going to exceed every expectation. Not because he's perfect, but because he's perfectly suited for this exact challenge at this exact moment. He's got the arm talent to make every throw, the intelligence to process complex defenses, the mobility to create when plays break down, and most critically, the mental fortitude to handle everything that comes with being the face of a franchise. The league is about to learn what college football already discovered. Shedeur Sanders doesn't just play the position, he elevates it. He turns routine completions into highlights. He transforms broken plays into miracles. He makes other quarterbacks look ordinary by comparison, and he does it all with the kind of natural charisma that can't be coached or manufactured. Cleveland is betting their immediate future on a 22-year-old who's never taken a professional snap, and that bet is going to pay off in ways that surprise even the most optimistic Browns fans. This isn't just about wins and losses, though there will be plenty of both. This is about relevance, respectability, and the kind of magnetic appeal that transforms franchises from afterthoughts into appointment television. The Shedeur Sanders era in Cleveland officially begins now, and if you're not buckled in for this ride, you're missing the most compelling story in football. This is what organizational courage looks like. This is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. This is what the future sounds like when it announces itself with authority. The Browns just went all in on their most important decision in decades, and judging by early returns, they didn't just find their quarterback, they found their identity. If you haven't already, smash that like button and subscribe because this story is just getting started, and you won't want to miss a single chapter of what promises to be the most electrifying quarterback story Cleveland has ever witnessed. Shedeur Sanders is your starting quarterback. The revolution begins Sunday. And Cleveland is about to remember what it feels like to believe again.